How you doing?
I'm so tired.
Uh,
I'm the tiredest I've ever been.
a lot of medals there.
That's not all of them. That's not all of them. There's some. What do you do with medals you don't want?
I had quite a funny conversation with Dan Lawson because he lives in a van and he's got not only medals but loads of trophies. And
He's
he's
got his medal. I didn't think he took. No, man, but he's old, so he's probably got lots of old medals.
yeah, so he's like, what do I do with all these trophies? I live in a van. I don't have space.
Maybe stop being so good at running.
Yeah, that's the answer. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So we got good, good visual, audio visual. That's good. That's the main thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
anything you need to know? Basically how it works, I'll probably ask a question or two to start with, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask people to put their hands up, and I'll just click them on one at a time. And
What if they don't put their hands up?
well, well they can either click the put your hand up button, or
Yeah.
they can actually put the hand up.
What if they don't? What if
What
they're?
do you mean? Oh, if they're shy.
Yeah. Can we? It will it be 15 minutes? Then we can all go home.
I got a feeling there's quite a few coming. I don't know. We had
Oh.
a few sign-ups
Okay.
today. But yeah, if no one wants to ask you a question, obviously no, then we can't go home because I need a podcast. So I'll have to ask you lots of questions. I have done some of these where we've only had like four or five guests.
That's okay because that's intimate.
Yeah, it is intimate, but it meant I had to do a lot more asking the question, which is fine. I've got a lot, I've read the books and I had read their books as well, so I had questions. But anyway,
Mm.
the idea is to, well, I quite like when I was giving talks and we do the Q&A, I quite like the kind of randomness of it, like you just suddenly going off on all sorts of tangents rather than have to keep some kind of coherent narrative going through your talk or through the conversation. It was just like, okay, let's talk about this. Oh, let's talk about that. And I always thought that was the nicest bit. So I thought I'd do a whole series of just doing that and see if,
I did a corporate talk for Levi's yesterday in Frankfurt, which is why I'm
oh,
tired. And I mentioned at the start, like I'm a podcaster, I'm an ultra runner, I'm this, I'm that, and the other. So I'm also a witch, and but I didn't write that on there because people think that that's nuts. And at the end, I was like, "Has anyone got any questions?" It was about resilience and mindset, and like what it takes to be an ultra runner and addict recovery. This guy went, "Yeah, I have." How'd you become a witch? And I'm like, "Why the fuck have you asked that?" Like, of all the things you want to know about the witchcraft, which is
are you
I am
actually,
actually a witch, yeah. But
wow.
it's like tends to scare people, the witch stuff, like especially the men in the room.
Yeah, well, I
Um,
do know another witch.
do you?
I can never quite tell if she's seriously a witch. I mean, she's kind of seriously a witch, but she does joke about it a lot as well. And she's got a YouTube channel that's doing very well and a Patreon that's doing very well.
But is she a YouTube witch?
Yeah. And
Ah,
so, and so I'm always, but she's just always joking about it. But then it's quite serious. She's got a lot of followers and she's quite serious and then jokey. So I can never tell how, if she's 100% serious or she's 50%. But anyways,
just come with me for a minute, okay? We'll just nip downstairs for a
you're going to
second.
show me your cauldron.
I'm going to show you more than that.
Broomstick.
This is my room.
Oh, that's very witchy.
I'm
Yes.
fucking serious.
Yes.
I'm very serious.
No, serious. Well,
Yeah.
this woman lives
Don't upset me, Darren. Don't
yeah,
upset me.
this woman lives in a house in a wood, so that's quite serious as well.
Oh, maybe she's got a coven. I'm looking to join a coven in South Wales.
Oh, she's
Does she
not
live in South Wales?
in Devon. And
Oh,
in Ireland, I did go and see a druid as well, a druid, a female druid.
oh,
She's a bit like
love
a
all this stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
druids are slightly different to witches, but
All right.
yeah. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
witchcraft.
So there we go. That's good. So I won't bring that subject up, but maybe it'll come up. I'm going to
Okay.
stick to writing and running, but yeah, I'll let people ask what they want. I'm going to start letting people in. There's nine people waiting, and
9?
yeah, ready.
That's breaking the internet. Full of Beyonce.
It is one of our bigger shows. So and there's more people coming. Like 12 now. Oh my God, they're flooding in. So
Wow.
I'll let them all arrive, and then they'll all have to find their audio and their visual.
Oh, well, I wonder if I know any. I bet I know some of them.
Yeah, I wonder. We'll see. I know some of them.
Oh,
Okay. That wasn't a bad thing. They're not people who are going to cause.
stalkers.
No, no, it's because it's also I give it to my Patreon people as well as a free.
Oh yeah. Wish I could be bothered with Patreon. I just can't be bothered with it.
I did
It's
had
another.
it in lockdown because I was not getting any money. But now I like it.
Mm.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Uh, we'll just give it a couple of minutes, let people log on. Still early, 7:58. Trying to think where we've got, from what I know, we've got someone. Are you in Madrid, Harry?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
You from Madrid here? Someone
Mm.
from Ireland. Eki, are you in UK or are you in somewhere
I'm in Belgium,
in
Flanders.
Belgium? It's an international call this.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. You did mention having some jokes I heard on your
Oh, okay. Damn it. Am I going to have to actually do that?
That's just to warm us up, we're all if you've got one.
Okay. I made this one up. This is actually an original.
Okay,
What
you better.
what do zombies put in their car?
Okay, what does always put in the car? Fuel, diesel, pet. No, I'm not going to spend too long trying to guess. I can't guess.
Undeaded petrol.
Undeaded petrol. Boom,
I
boom.
actually made that up myself.
That's not too bad.
That's an original. Yeah. No, it's not too bad. It's brilliant. It's genius.
Me, it's good. Let's go with that.
Okay. I'm not gonna be bothered to invite anytime soon, am I?
You probably, you probably, you probably get away with it in a Christmas cracker, I reckon.
That's really, really hurtful.
Tino, did you have your hand up already, or were you just practicing?
That was a slow clap for the joke.
It's like,
Right. Well, you can leave. Get him out. Unbelievable. This is top quality bants. Trying to think of some more, but I can't. I'm on the spot. I need to write them down more often.
it is brave of you to tell a joke straight off the bat.
Mm. I was at the weekend. I was out with my friend Hannah Rickman, who's also a runner, and she's going to a conference in Denmark, Copenhagen, and she is a TB conference. So I came up with loads of jokes for her because when she's doing her presentation, she could say things like, "I thought I'd found a cure, but it was not TB, TB." Yeah,
I also had
that's
one the other day. What do you call a man with no shins?
I don't know.
Tony.
Oh, nice. That's quite good. Quite good.
I like Okay, right.
If I think of any more in the middle of the thing,
Yeah,
I'll just
just
say them.
stop and tell some jokes.
Yeah, I will. I'll try and remember them. I really need to start writing them down. I might do a joke book. That might be my next book.
Okay. Well, I think we can start, and I can just let people in as they arrive. So, welcome everybody, and welcome Ali, and thank you very much for joining us. For anyone who doesn't know, Ali is the author. This is an author Q&A. So Ali's done many, many things, but in the context of an author Q&A, Ali's written a book called There Is No Wall. And I think the subtitle on the cover anyway is Running Won't Save You. There it is. Which is obviously quite a provocative title and also a provocative cover as Ali sitting there smoking a cigarette. And for anyone who's read the book will know it's quite a provocative book, and interesting and raw and honest and doesn't shy away from some pretty tough issues. So I'll begin, Ali. I hear you're writing another book, and I was
I finished it.
finished it.
Finished it. Yeah, it's in the bag.
It's in the bag, but it's not published, right? I haven't
Oh, no,
missed.
it's out on the 5th of February.
Okay.
5th of Feb. Yeah.
Can you tell us
Just
a bit more about it? What it's called and what?
sure. So at the end of there is a chapter called Dear Reader, which was a letter. And in that letter, there was a load of things I'd learned, or like basically it was a letter to myself, to tell myself to stop being such a dickhead. Um, but there was lots of things in there that people found really helpful as takeaways. And so this book is called 31 Days, and it is I hate the word self-help, but it is along those lines. It's more like self-help. It's got 31 chapters, and they're segregated into 5 sections with 6 chapters in each section. And they're basically easy to digest mindset pieces about things like imposter syndrome, comparison, doing the basics well, fear, all the stuff that comes into the runner's mindset sphere. Each chapter is like 1,500 words long, and it has like a focus, it has an example, and it has action. So it's got worksheets, it's got PDF you can download, and it's got how to change your mindset basically from sort of a performance avoidance mindset to a performance approach mindset. But it's not supposed to be lectury, and it's supposed to be helpful. So the point is, one of my big bugbears is people that buy books and then put them on their shelf and expect by osmosis that they're going to suddenly be well, whereas actually you do have to do the work that is in the books, and people don't do it. They just don't. It's like you journal when you're sad, but you don't when you're happy. So it's very clear that you have to do the work, and it's designed so you can do 1 chapter a day for a month, or 1 chapter a day, 1 chapter a month, or 1 chapter, however long you want to do it. But you need to do it and finish it and do the exercise before you move on to the next one. So that's what it is.
And is it written in a similar style to your first book?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. No, you're not holding back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope. It's exactly the same, and it's got some nice little juicy stories in there.
Good.
And it's also got some stories from athletes, because obviously I'm a coach. So I've taken the coached athletes. I've used all of this stuff. They've been guinea pigs, and I've tried it out on them, and I tried it on me, then I tried it on them, then I put it in the book.
And I wanted to ask one thing. I want to ask is when you handed that first draft in to your editors, were they expecting that book, and were
they asked for it?
That's it, like that.
Yeah.
So you had that conversation. They didn't try and soften it or anything in any way.
No, I had I really want to do a children's book, like everyone does with my dog, but they're not into that. So I think they think it'd be too scary. But they asked for that sort of book, and then I just did it exactly the same way as I did the other one. And
no, I'm talking about the first one. When you handed the first one.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah.
Oh no, the first one. Oh yeah, the first one was softened.
Right. It was softened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So was that because were they surprised by what you'd written? Because it is an unusual book. What was their reaction?
Why do you think it's unusual?
Well, because I mean it quite openly is. It says like this is not like other books. I'm not gonna. I guess you're not pretending to be literary. You're just telling it as though you're sitting down telling someone face to face, I guess. Someone you know quite well. I guess the level of honesty is quite unusual. I mean, there are other books that are very honest, but but also the amount of swearing in a running book is quite
I don't think it's well, first of all, I don't think it's a running book. I don't think it's a running book at all. I think running is the vehicle for which we are, like, that's what it is. It could be anything. It could be cycling, it could be darts, but it is running. And secondly, so I met my commissioning editor on a hill in the middle of a race. I was running the Grand Tour of Skiddaw, what a race that was. And I met this woman, and I started talking to her, and turns out she was the commissioning editor for Vertebrate. I'd started writing a book, and I basically got all my blogs and put them in one place. That's what I'd done. And so it was a mess. And a lot of my blogs were private, so they weren't published on my website. They were published on places in the internet where they were hidden, because I just didn't know what to do with myself, and I didn't know who to talk to, so I just hid them. And also they were too awful to put on my website. People would literally, I thought the men in white coats would come, but of course they won't, because the NHS is understaffed, so the men in white coats are not coming. But when I gave the blogs to Kirsty to read, because I said, what do you think of this? And then she took them to John at Vertebrate, and they said, yeah, this is a book. Like, it's amazing. That's what they said to me. So they knew exactly what it was going to be like, but they did soften bits of it. And also there was quite a lot of legal bits they had to like look at with names and places and things that happened. But the Panama section was 70,000 words long.
Right. That's a book in itself then.
Yeah. Do you see what I mean? Like, it had to be, a lot of it had to be like chopped right down, and then I would argue with them, because I'd be like, but it's really important. And they were like, it's not that important, Ali.
Yeah. Cool. And I should just say to everybody, if you want to ask a question, you can either just sit there with your hand up, or there is an option. I think it's if you click on React at the bottom, there's an option to raise hand. And then that'll shift you to the top of my screen, and we can start going through some questions. I mean, I do have, well, I have lots more, but yeah, it'd be good if some of you join in. But yeah, I do. So I've written a book about ultra running as well, and a question I get asked a lot, and a question I grapple with a lot is, why do we do ultra running? Ultra running is like super torturous, super painful. Puts us through the ringer. And I struggle personally. I don't struggle with knowing why I run, but I do kind of struggle with this. Why do I do this to myself? And I was wondering from your perspective, as you've got quite a fresh perspective on lots of things, do you have you nailed that, or do you know why you do it personally? And do you have a kind of grasp on what? Because people talk about, digging in the pain cave or finding your limits, but sometimes those things are almost a bit meaningless. I was just wondering if
I
you.
just think, honestly, that is a load of old rubbish. It does my nut in because it's not that bad. If you're trained, if you're
Right,
ready, and if you're prepared, it
right.
isn't a pain cave. It's challenging for sure, and it is hard freaking work.
Yeah,
But when you think about it, you spend like 18 months or 9 months doing the training, and then you go and do the thing, and it only lasts like what, 3 days, maybe 7 days max, right? The thing. And you are in control and you've chosen to do it. You have chosen to do that thing and you can stop at any time. And I think people try, sorry, but especially men try and make it sound harder than it is. If it's that brutal, you are unprepared. That is on you. Okay. Even if the weather's shit, like I don't believe this stuff. What I think is that people do it because they are looking for more of a meaning, or they're looking to feel like a human being, which in this time that we live in now is very difficult because we can distract ourselves from our feelings, we can distract ourselves from reality, we've got this in our pocket all the time. So even if we yesterday I was on an aeroplane and I was doing a crossword and I couldn't think of the answers to the crossword. So instead of sitting there with the uncomfortable feelings of, oh, I'm not very clever, I can't work this out, what could this be, I just hopped onto the next crossword or hopped onto the next puzzle or looked at my phone
right.
instead of sitting and being like, what's this feeling of uncomfortableness? This is just like a little example, right?
Yeah.
In ultra running, you are traveling with that feeling and no one is going to help you. So it's a real chance to be your absolute most authentic self, right? And I think that's what drags me, or what keeps pulling me back into it. And it's not about, oh, I'm going to smash my body up. It's not about that. Back in the day when I was writing the book, it was about, I thought that it would save me. Because everyone told me it would. Running's really good for your mental health. Running will cure you. Even doctors are now prescribing time outdoors, right? It doesn't, because anything that you're looking for external to you that you think is going to provide you with happiness or change your life isn't, because that comes from inside. That comes from your feelings about yourself and how you think about stuff. We all have a choice about the thoughts we believe. So it does kind of grind my gears a little bit when people go on about how brutal, savage, awful it is, because it puts people off trying. And even, my next race is the Winter Spine. Like, you can't get more brutal than the Winter Spine. But I've trained for the Winter Spine for 8 years. Like, I have done the short ones, I've done the medium ones, I've been on the media team, I've been on the safety team, I've done loads of other races. So I'm excited about being outside in the cold for 6 days and having a massive adventure. It's a privilege to be able to do that. And that, the two books, There Is No War and the new book, the whole point is about your mind. You choose how you think, and you're presented with problems in ultra running, and it's your resilience is based around flexibility and your ability to solve the problem. It's like an exciting adventure rather than a brutal experience. So yeah, my higher power is nature. When I went to AA, I really couldn't deal with the whole God thing. So my higher power is nature. And like I was talking to you before, at witchcraft, like I'm a witch. And witchcraft is based within nature and the changing of the seasons and the phases of the moon and the power and the energy and all that sort of stuff. So the thought of being out on the Pennine Way for 6 days, maybe 5 days, I don't know, with all that around you, with all that power and energy, is so exciting. And the power and energy of other people, rather than, oh my God, it's going to be brutal. It's not going to be, a holiday Lanzarote. But at the same time, it's like, after what I've been through in my life with the depression and the booze and the hating myself and all that, it's an absolute privilege to be able to do it. So that's my why. I think maybe I went off tangent there.
No,
Does
no,
that make sense?
that's really, really interesting. I mean, I do think, like you say, men complain more. I do think men probably are generally less well prepared as well because I think, well, I think that's quite a known thing that they go in with a bit more bravado, thinking they can do. I mean, I know that's been the case for me. I've done 100K, I can do 100 miles. It's just a bigger number. Uh, but the other thing, it feels like you're saying it kind of brings you face to face with yourself and like
Oh
without
yeah.
extension of all those distractions. And I really get that. Yeah, that's a really valuable thing, of course. So
It's so rare that you can actually strip yourself down to who you actually are. It's so fucking rare. And because I'm like, I have really strong values. And so I was quite surprised when people were like, oh, you're really honest. I'm like, isn't everybody honest? But it turns out they're not. And turns out people present as they want to be seen by other people. And the thing is, you can't control what other people think. So you might as well just be yourself. You won't get to that point in your life until you are on a hill in the middle of somewhere. You might be surrounded by people, but you're on your own. Like I just finished Dragon's Back race. It was horrendous. The weather was horrendous. But I chose to do that. I paid to do that and I trained to do that. And even though it was awful and it's taken me a long time to get over it, I am so proud of myself for like being my true authentic self and looking after myself and being able to complete it. And it taught me so much about what I'm capable of and so much about having more in me. And that then goes into every aspect of your life, like everything that you do. And I think that's really empowering and a really special thing.
yeah, brilliant. Aki, you've got a question. Do you want to go first?
Yes, I finished your book just a few days ago. I really enjoyed it, but it also made me question my relationship with running. It's helped me with my mental health on one hand, but on the other hand, I noticed that I'm somewhat using it as running away from some things, and that's really well in your face, and was really interesting to look at running from that perspective as well. That you can have this somewhat unhealthy relationship with it, and well, you need to keep looking for ways to deal with problems outside of running in your life. So I found it really inspiring. But my question is about somewhat something else. Like, well, I guess we all know a person in our life or who's in our surroundings who's well dealing with alcohol abuse or similar issues, and making themselves somewhat impossible into their surroundings. And I don't know what advice you would give, what would be a useful way to approach them in a helpful way to that you can try to make them realize. I don't know. Yep.
That's a really, really good question. And first, I'll just say on what you said about you're running away, you love your running, but you feel like you're running away from something or trying to get something out of it. It's possible to have two emotions around the same thing. That's possible to like understand, oh my God, like I'm actually running away from these problems, and to also be like, I love doing this. It's not a bad thing, but use that, that there will be you're not your running will be a symptom of something else, or the way you use running. It's about finding out what that is, and you can use your running to find out what that is. So when you're out, you can think to yourself, what is it that makes me unhappy? What are my values? What is it that like makes me full of joy? And you can work out what those things are while you're doing the thing you enjoy doing. So I think it's really important to remember those two things can coexist. Like horror can coexist with joy. Like there doesn't have to be duality is a thing. On the alcohol question, I get asked this all the time, right? The amount of times I was told by people, you've got a massive problem, you need to sort yourself out. I'm sorry, I'm going to swear quite a lot here. And I told those people to go fuck themselves, right? Because when you have a problem with alcohol, it's not alcohol that's the problem. There is something else that's the problem. Alcohol is the solution, okay? Like cocaine is a solution. Heroin is the solution. Pornography is a solution. There is a problem that is not the alcohol. And it's about what that problem is. Now, it's highly unlikely that if they haven't told you what that problem is, they're going to tell you now because there'll be a shame there. So you've got the problem then you've got shame, then you've got the booze. And you need to hack through the booze and the shame to get to the problem. From my experience, I absolutely hated myself. And to a point, I still have a big problem with myself. But I'm doing my therapy, I'm doing everything that I can do. So life's work. It took me 40 years to get this opinion of myself. It's probably going to take me 30 years to unpick it. I just wanted to be heard. I just wanted people to listen to me, no matter how nuts that rant was, no matter how sad I was. And I talked about suicide a lot and I talked about being worthless a lot. But I thought I was a burden and I thought I was boring people. So I didn't do that. So I shut down. I wish I'd had someone that said to me, you can talk to me about anything and I will love you unconditionally and I will not judge you and I will hold this space for you to talk to me. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you not to drink. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm just going to listen. And a really good question to ask somebody if you're worried about them is to say, I am really worried about you because I love you. Do you want to be heard, helped, or held? And they'll tell you. They might just want to be heard. They might want you to help them. They might just want to be held. But if you give, they might want all of those things. But if you give them the option, they can tell you. But the most important thing is to be consistent in your messaging, which is, I love you unconditionally. I will not judge you, and I'm not going to do anything that will frighten you. I just want you to talk to me. And that's it. If you have to say that 30 times over 30 days, do it. But the only person that can change that behavior is the person that's doing it, not you. You need to have really strong boundaries around yourself as well as to when you're going to stop, because otherwise it can affect your mental health. And I had someone come up to me yesterday at a corporate talk and he was so upset because his flatmate was just a state. I said, look what it's doing to you. You're not responsible for other people's emotional well-being. No one on this call is responsible for anyone else's emotional well-being apart from their own. But we tend to think we are, like our partners or our children. We're not. We're not responsible for their emotional well-being. We can't make them think or behave in any way. It's up to them. So really, it's just offering that support and providing that space, which can be very painful, and knowing when to step away yourself when it becomes too much for you. Does that help?
That's yeah, it's really brilliant advice. Thanks, Annie. Tina, you got a question? Do you want to go?
Yeah, it's going to sound a bit different from the stuff that you've just talked about, Ali, but I was more interested about you've mentioned the process of writing the first book and the blogs that came together and talking to someone, a vertebrate, and making it into a book. I just wanted to ask, since you've already mentioned your next book, was it a similar process or was it all sort of from scratch? And I guess as a second question, were there any stories that you had to cut for the first one that you can now or wanted to use for this one? Yeah.
So they came back to me. I said, I'm bored, I want to write another book. They went, what do you want to write a book about? And I was like, I get to write a book about my dog. They were like, you're not, Ali. We're not doing a book about your goddamn dog. So me and Kirsty came up with this idea to carry on from the end of that book, which was like, I've been sober 2 years, I think, or like a year or something, 2 years maybe. And these are the things I've learned. So 2 years on from that, I won Coach of the Year. I've done a load more races. I've gone back to Dragon's Back. So at the end of that book, I talk about DNFing the Dragon's Back race on the Tuesday of the race. I've now finished that race. It's taken me 3 years of training and working on myself this sounds really dramatic, but that's what's taken, because I'm not a natural athlete. I work really hard. And the success of my coaching business, it's a roaring success, my coaching business. I'm one of only 3 full-time endurance coaches in the UK. I've won awards for it. I'm now a qualified life coach, so I can bring that into the coaching. The work I do on people works. I've got testimonials coming out my ears. People come in one way and they come out another way, and they're changed. It completely changed their life. They go from being people-pleasing alcoholics to being super confident ultra runners, and husbands, wives, brothers, sisters. It works because I can give them ways to do the work. So everything in that book, none of it's airy fairy bullshit. All of it is stuff that I've tested on myself, then tested on other people, and then have examples. And I hope the examples allow people to go, oh, I see what she means, as opposed to just, how a lot of books are just like, do this, do that. You're like, I don't really know what you're talking about. I'm trying to put it into a real life, I was on this race and this happened and I had to use this mindset thing. This is what happens when you compare yourself to other people. This is how you can change your thinking. Because a lot of people think mindset change is going from thinking, I'm a worthless piece of shit to I'm amazing. But that doesn't work because you don't believe you're amazing. Otherwise, you would already think you're amazing. It's not about a game of opposites. It's about a game of what is a more helpful thought that I can believe? What are these limiting beliefs that I believe are true, which are actually complete nonsense? It's stuff like that. So I basically wrote down a list of like the most common mental ailments my athletes have. And then I went through it with Kirsty because Kirsty's also an ultra runner. John Barton, who's the CEO at Vertebrate, is a runner. And we worked out, we chose the ones that we thought were most relevant, and I just went with those. So it was a lot easier to write this book. I've got a very good relationship with Vertebrate, and my first book was the biggest selling running book they've ever had. It's one of the most successful books they've ever had. So we knew that we hope that the second one will be as successful, but it's a slightly different market because we're going to aim it at people who ride bikes. They're called cyclists, triathletes. It doesn't matter what sport you're doing. This will work for everybody, and hopefully, it's explained in a way that is helpful to everybody. Does that answer your question? I can't really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It sounds like it was relatively, maybe easy is not the right word, but
Oh no, compared to the other one, it was easy.
Yeah.
It was a piece of piss.
To get everything on the page. I was just had a very tiny question as your remark at the end there, the audience you're going for. Was it Vertebrate as well, or was it you to go with because I think the term runner is in the title, isn't it?
Is it?
So when it comes to sort of,
I don't think it is. It's just called 31 Days, and then I've got a little
right,
byline. I've got a byline on it, but I can't remember what it was.
all right,
I've
okay.
literally just written it.
Because I saw it the other day and was like, oh, great, another, book from a running perspective, maybe with runners in mind. But it makes sense because the first book, yeah, it applies to so much more than just running. It's not about running, like you said. And I think that's really good. I really enjoyed it as well. So I look forward to this one. Thank you.
I think the byline on it is like something about mindset works for the modern runner, but then on the back, it's like can be used for anybody.
Yeah.
They want it to be running specific, but I'm like, I want to be the Joe Wicks of ultra running, so I'm like, get everyone to buy it.
Fair enough.
You kind of alluded to the first book being very hard to write, or that was the impression. Was it difficult to write that first book?
It was absolutely horrific. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. I hated it
because of revisiting all those experiences.
Yeah, I absolutely hated it. I hated it. Like lots of people were like, "Oh my God, I love writing my book." No, not really. It was awful. I had to dredge up all this stuff. I was in really early recovery. It was quite cathartic in a weird sort of way. It made me super angry. It made me embarrassed, ashamed, depressed. It panicked me. It's really hard to write things about your family members when they're still alive. It's driven a wedge between me and certain members of my family. It was absolutely vile, and having to go through it over and over again to edit it. Whereas this other one, it's like, I could just type this, it's absolutely fine. So I haven't even read the book. Like I've written it and then I read it through the edits, but I've not ever picked it up and read it. And I've never listened to the audiobook, which I narrate very, very fast. It's 5 hours long because I was like, I'm gonna get it over and done with. It was horrible.
You said it was cathartic. Did it help you process some of
No,
the
not at all. That's what therapy's for. It got it all out on the page, but what did help me was the response to it. So like I still have probably 2 emails a week with people I've just read your book and it's changed my life, or it's helped me understand my dad's alcoholism, or it's helped me to do my first ultra, or I see myself in it. Probably 2 emails a week, like a few messages on Instagram. That makes it worth it, because when I was in that state, I had nothing. There was nothing. I couldn't find anything to help me or anyone to help me because I thought I was the only person. Turns out I'm not the only person that runs fucking 100-mile races and drinks rosé halfway around. Lots of people do. Triathletes are a nightmare. I've had so many messages from triathletes. Right. So that makes it worth it. And that kind of helps with the horror of writing it. But I'm not going to lie and say it was amazing, because it really wasn't. I said to Kirsty, like, do you want me to relapse and do another one? She was like, absolutely fucking not. I want you to write a book about like the mindset stuff. because I
Right.
can't deal with that again.
Makes sense. Yeah. Emma, you've got a question. Do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Ali. I
Hello.
really enjoyed the book, and it gave me such an insight into depression that I've never had before, not from speaking to people or anywhere else have I had that insight. So I think it is really great for me to be able to read that and understand it on that different level. But talking about running and mindset, so I love trail running, but in the winter, I really struggle with being out on the trails that are deserted. So I tend to go to the road, go to well-lit places. I don't mind it being dark if I'm on the road, if I'm in a busy area. But have you ever had to deal with that? Have you ever felt afraid when you're out on the trails alone? Or is it something that, is it something that I should just overcome and get out there? Or, I just wonder.
Where do you live, Emma?
I live down in Bournemouth. So
I'm from Bournemouth.
Yeah. So I've got woodland right next to me, which I
Which
love
woods are they?
Oh, it's a place called Ferndown.
I know where Ferndown is. My brother lives there. Now, you're more likely to get murdered on a road. Do you know that? You're more likely to be abducted, assaulted, raped, and murdered on a road, or in a town like London or Bournemouth, right? No one's waiting for you on a trail. I can fucking guarantee it. And the amount of people, whenever people are attacked, women are attacked, it's by usually like 90% of the time by somebody they know, who knows their route, who knows where they're going, and is waiting for them. So this is a story that women are told by men to frighten them into minimizing themselves and to staying back and being like, oh no, I better not do that because I'm asking for it. It's not our problem, it's men's problem. Instead of us not going running in the dark, how about they don't fucking attack us? Maybe. Right? So when you look at the facts of the matter, the likelihood of it happening is tiny. And every time you get into your car, you don't go, fucking hell, I might get killed on the way to work, do you? No, but you're more likely to be killed on the way to work. 1 billion times more likely to be killed on the way to work. I don't know what the actual facts are. But if I always think to myself, if I'm running on a trail in the middle of the night, some bloke's waiting to attack me, good on him. Because he's been waiting there for ages. Like ages. Like it's just not going to happen. There is no one hiding on the Pennine Way. You can protect yourself with a rape alarm, which is cheap. You could just keep it in your pocket. A big head torch. And when I lived in London, I used to put my hair up and put a balaclava on so no one could see that I had long hair. And I would wear so many layers that you couldn't see that I was a woman either. So, and I can run pretty fast. I do my interval sessions. The other thing is I'm lucky enough to have a dog. So I do take Pickle out with me, but I don't take her out at night because she'll just chase rabbits. So my whole thing is I've looked at the facts of the matter when it comes to the mindset. You need to look at what is real and what a story that you're telling yourself or a story you've been told since you were a little girl, which is not true. Okay. It is honestly not true. The statistics are so small. The other thing you can do is turn off your Strava so it's not public. So nobody knows where you are. They can't see your routes. Like I say, head torch and chest torch or hand torch. So you can buy like a police issue hand torch on Amazon really cheap. It's really bright and it's big. You can whack someone with it if you really have to. Rape alarm if you really want one. Keys if you really need them. But there's nothing, when you write it down and fear storyboard it, there's nothing there to be afraid of. It's all stories that we've been told, scary stories to minimize women and to force them into a situation where they need to ask a man to help them or where they stay indoors. It's bullshit. So whenever I feel like that, I think to myself, by not doing this, I am acting in line with the patriarchy. I'm not having it. I'm not fucking having it. And it works because you go out, you're empowered and you feel confident and you get your shit done and it's brilliant. So try it. The other thing is you could always buddy up with someone nearby, like someone you could always say to someone else that runs with you, come run with me. If I was down there, I'd come running with you, no problem. But it's all about like what's real and what's not. And we believe so much stuff that isn't real. You really need to look at like what the facts of the matter are and even do a little bit of research on it. If you really want to do a bit of research on when was the last time in the Bournemouth Daily Echo put up a thing about a woman being attacked in the woods?
Yeah, probably a long time ago.
You don't remember it, right?
No,
but you'll see people being attacked in Bournemouth Town Centre on a Saturday night all the time. It's more dangerous there than it is in the woods in Ferndown. It's fucking freezing. No one's out. The only people that are out, my brother walking his dogs. That's it. Does that help?
Yeah, no, it does. And I like your idea of doing the research as well and actually looking at the facts. I think that helps.
And if you don't want to go out running, go out for a walk, go out for a 5-minute walk, like lit up like a Christmas tree and see how many people are out there. I used to run on the Castleman Trail from Wimborne to Ringwood in the night, see my sister, 13 miles there, 13 miles back. I swear to God, I never saw anybody on it ever, except me.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ellie. I must be, I sometimes get scared just by the trees in the woods sometimes at night. But that, again,
Me too.
it's just like you say, it's the stories you've been told as a child, but obviously it's worse for a woman. The more stories to scare you.
Uh-huh.
Jean, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, Ali, just really love the book in terms of the rawness and the honesty and stuff that was in it, and it is quite rare in a lot of books. But I'm just curious. You mentioned earlier on that you were kind of in the early stages of recovery when you wrote it. From the way you're talking now, and obviously you're much further along the road, you're in a much stronger position, probably mentally and stuff. That if you did have to go back and rewrite the book, would you kind of approach it in the same way, or would there be that same level of honesty, or do you think it would be a bit more sanitized with the benefit of the hindsight of the length of time, we'd say, between where you are now and where you were when you first wrote the book?
No, it would be the same.
That makes any sense?
It would be exactly the same. So as much as it was like, so a lot of the stuff in there, the blogs were written before, like in 2017, they've all got the dates on them. They're literally taken off the internet and put straight into the book. I had to edit them a bit because they were kind of mental. But no, it will be the same. And now sometimes, right, I get this thing where I'm like, people really fucking don't like me because I've got a massive mouth and I say what I think. Maybe I should tone it down a bit. Maybe I should be a bit more like everybody else. Maybe I should have a bit more of like a nicer opinion on whatever. But then I'm like, I can't do it. It doesn't line up with my values. My values are kindness to myself and other people, integrity to myself and other people, and honesty to myself and other people. Kindness isn't niceness. So kindness is telling the truth. So with my athletes, I'm not going to say they come to me and say, I want to run a 100-mile race. I'm not going to go, yeah, definitely. If I think that they can't, I'm going to be like, you are on crack if you think you can do that. We'll give it 2 years and then we'll do it. Because it's not kind to tell people they can do things they're not capable of, right? It's kinder to take them through the process. So it would be exactly the same as it is. And I'm really working on this idea that I am exactly who I am. And it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks, because if I believe in what I'm doing and I'm trying to get my message across clearly and coherently and I'm acting in line with my values, no one can ever trip me up. It's when you start squashing yourself or minimizing yourself or changing the way that you get tripped up because you're not really being who you are. I am the person that's in that book. I am the highs in that book. I am the rock bottoms in that book. I'm the person crying at Tottenham Court Road in that book. I'm the person trying to kill myself in that book. All of that is still the person that I am. It's just now I have tools that mean that I can live in a much more healthy way and respect myself a lot more. So if I had to write another book like that, I don't think I've got another book like that in me because I have a very boring life now. What am I going to write about? How many saunas I go to a week and how much time I spend with my crystals and like burning incense? How much witchcraft? I can write a book on witchcraft, but I can't unless I relapse. I can't write another book like that. That is it. We are done with that. But everything else that I do will always be in that style, and the coaching that I do will always be in that style, and the podcasts that I do will always be in that style. Because even though sometimes I get like, if you were a little bit more sanguine, maybe you'd be on Radio 4 more often, or maybe Sport Relief would want you on to help with the runners. But that's not who I am. So I think it's really important. If you're thinking about writing a book, it's really important to have your own voice. And Kirsty said to me when I wrote that book, the first draft you write for yourself. You don't write it for an audience, you write it for you, just you and no one else. The second draft, we look at the audience. So we maybe take out the things that people don't understand. We think about the people that you want to reach. And then the last draft, we think about mass market. And so really not a lot changed between second and last. But I was always worried about what my family would think. And it was only in the third bit that I was like, I'll take that out, I'll take that out, I'll take that out because these people are still alive and I don't want them to be upset. So yeah, I wouldn't change it. No, it would be the same.
Okay, thank you.
If anyone else got more questions, put your hands up. I mean, I was just thinking there is. I mean, I remember reading the book. I read it quite a long time ago now, but I remember it finishes like, and it doesn't finish like it feels like that's the end of Ali's story. It feels like that's the end of the first part of Ali's story. Uh, and so I'm just wondering, has the role of running changed in your life since that book? Because at that point in time, you were using it. You say it didn't save you, but you were maybe using it as a therapeutic tool. Is running still play the same role? Is it a tool or and your approach to running and the role it plays in your life, has that evolved? And do you see it evolving as you get older? I don't want to make any kind of comment about age or anything, but in the future.
What
I
do
mean,
you think I am?
I'm in my 50s, and I'm contemplating how running is going to be in the future. So what's your approach to running 2 years after finishing that book?
I have loads of things I want to do. And I also am very aware that I have yet to reach my peak because I'm 44. So I actually think that women will peak like 48, 49, 50. That's when we will really come into, well, that's when I will come into my own. I started late. I started when I was 30. So I have loads of things I want to tick off more because I'm just like, well, from coaching, I don't like to coach people in who to do events that I've not done or I don't understand. So like if someone came to me and said, I want to do Tour de Gion, I'd be like, I can't do that. I can't coach in that because I've not done it and I've got no fucking interest in it. One of the reasons I wanted to finish Dragon's Back was so that I'd be able to be like, right, now I can really go for the UK multi-day market, or I can really help people doing Dragon's Back. One of the reasons I'm doing the spine is because I'm like, I want to finish that and be an example of what's possible to women. Like, you can be a fucking alcoholic, you can start late, you can not be very good because ultimately I'm pretty bang average at running, but I try hard, I work hard, I train hard, and I like the ticking off of the like, right, I've done that, so what's next? I've done that, so what's next? But one of the things I really want to get more into is my own adventure stuff because I did a lot of that before. The Wales Coast Path, the All England Coast Path is something I'd love to do the whole thing in one go. Like take 6 months off and just do it. There's a path that joins all the national parks together, 2,500 mile park that Slowways are putting together. I'd love to run that. Like for me, it's like I said at the beginning, my higher power is nature. If you put me in the Brecon Beacons, that is where I'm like a pig in shit. I'm at my calmest, happiest. Everything is fine when I'm in the Brecon Beacons. That's why I'm moving South Wales. Like it is where I'm centered, it's where I'm earthed, it's where all my energy is, it's where I'm completely calm and completely myself. So the role that running plays for me is that grounding. It's almost like being in a church. Like I don't believe in God, but that is the church. Like that is where everything is okay. And that's really all that matters to me. I don't have family, I don't have like things that other people might think are important. I've had quite a weird dysfunctional like life. But the safety of the hill is like the ultimate piece for me. So it's just the more I can do that, the better it is for me. And the more I can do it, be honest about it, and like be this example of what's possible, the better that is for me. And the thing I love the most, apart from being out, is helping other people. So I love coaching. I fucking love coaching. There is nothing better than taking somebody from like with that imposter syndrome. I can't do it. I don't know what to do with my life. I'm a mess. I'm drinking too much. I'm anxious. I'm whatever it is. To, oh my God, I've just finished this 50-mile race, or not even finished it. I've had a really good go at it. I didn't finish it, but that doesn't matter because it was about the process, not the outcome. Those lessons are like massive. And, it was my job to make myself moribund as a coach. I want them to go, right, thank you so much. I've done my coaching now. I've been doing it for a year. I'm ready to go off into the big wide world on my own. That to me is a joy. It's like releasing a puffin into the wild, like that you've hand reared. So I think it's changed in that I used to use it to stop myself thinking, a bit like I did with the alcohol. Like when I was really in it, I was like doing an ultramarathon every weekend to stop myself thinking. But now I do it because I have the freedom to do it. And I just love that facing down of yourself, like spending that like raw time with yourself. I think it's magical.
Yeah, well, that sounds great. Carol, you've got a question. Do you want to ask?
Hi, Allie.
Hi, Carol. Haven't seen you for
Hi.
ages.
I know. Mine is more about sort of night running and how you deal with that sleep deprivation. I've got a bit of a goal in mind for a couple of years, and that's one thing that I've always had issues with.
What is your goal then?
It's a 100-miler.
So
One of the rat
when it
race
what
ones is, so it's nice and slightly more
so
gentle as build as the 100-miler for people who don't do 100-milers,
I
like
know.
me.
I fucking hate them. Terrible. Why would you put on a race for people that don't like running? It's ridiculous. Anyway, it's in July, so you're not going to have much darkness. You'll have 6, 7 hours. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not actually going to get dark. So, and it's one day of your life, so you don't need to worry about it.
Cool.
The end. All you need to worry about is like getting a really good endurance base, being able to eat properly, that race, it's 50 hours on the old cutoff, right? So like you can go to sleep for 10 hours in a van if you really need to. You don't need to worry about it. What you're doing is you're looking so far down the track that you're incapable of enjoying the process. All you need to look at is the end of this week. That's it. Because that's going to happen in 2 years, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
But you don't need to look that far ahead. People panic about these things, but it's one night of your life. And I'm pretty sure, Carol, that in your life, you've stayed up all night at least once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times.
Most probably.
Right. So you don't need to worry about it. You'll be busy. You'll be running. You'll be busy. You won't be sitting there being like, oh, I really need to stay awake. You'll just be busy. So most of the time, the reason you get tired is because you're hungry or you're bored. But it's hunger that is the main thing. Don't start panicking about shit that doesn't matter. Just look towards the end of this week and build up your endurance base and build up your volume. And when your brain goes to panic stations about something that's not happening yet, bring it back to the moment. Am I doing everything I can right now? Yes, I am. Okay, so I'm just going to keep doing that then.
Fabulous.
You might as well worry about the weather, but you can't because it's 2 years
Well,
away.
we've got snow, so
You won't have snow in July.
no.
Yeah.
And thank you. 2 years sober today, by the way.
Congratulations! That
Thank
explains why
you.
your hair looks so good.
Anastasia, you've got a question. Do you want to go next?
Yes, thank you. Ali, first of all, to say thank you for being so brave, because you're right, there is still a lot of stigma about mental health. I think a lot of people, say again in the book, don't want to hear about it, don't understand it, and it's just really helpful to have someone being very blunt about it. And please do dob in the guy you were talking about on your podcast, the surgeon who is
Oh my God, honestly.
Well, we need to know the story then, and we don't know the story.
So I've got a podcast called Running Won't Save You, and I got a message from this girl who told me that there was a man in her club who had entered Boston Marathon as non-binary and told everybody he'd entered Boston Marathon as non-binary because the qualification time, he could hit the non-binary qualification time, but not the male qualification time. So he was making this massive joke about it. And she was like, I don't know what to do. Everybody's like, oh, it's just what he does. So we were like, I was like, this is absolutely, completely ludicrous and outrageous, and it should not be allowed. I will report him. Anyway, follow-up alert. She emailed me. And the thing is, this guy's a fantasist. He reckons he's a commercial pilot and a surgeon. But I know what his name is now, and I've seen his LinkedIn profile and I've seen his Instagram profile. So she's reported him. Loads of people in the club have reported him. Loads of Kirsty's reported him. I've reported him. I'm pretty sure that a load of listeners will report him after Saturday's podcast. But honestly, it's like something off Netflix. Like this dude is fucking mental. And the problem is, all the other races he's done, he's run as a man. He's been like, I'm male. So this is the first time he said that he's non-binary, and he absolutely does not live a non-binary life. So yeah, we're on to him.
Good. Anyway, my question was, your Panamanian jungle experience sounded absolutely horrific.
It was.
They didn't make it into a race?
You what?
They didn't make it into a race or a trip for people to go on?
They did.
Really?
Yeah, you can go on it if you want.
No, you've not told it.
It's a rat race. So it's coast to, I think it's Panama coast to coast. It's like, I don't know if they still do it because I can't even look at their website. But yeah, so they did make it into a trip. And the first time they went, it was an absolute disaster because everybody was like, we need to get out of the jungle. We can't cope with it. And it was awful. And there was lots of people that got very sick. So, but yeah, you can go and do it if you want. I think they've shortened it. I think it's only 3 days now.
Okay. I was just amazed that they would still put it on. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Go and have a look at the website.
Now you're all right.
Anastasia, you go and do it. Jean, you've got another question.
Yeah, Ali, I was just seeing your eyes light up there when you were talking about coaching.
Oh yeah, I love
guide
coaching
and stuff. And I suppose I'm a teacher as well. I kind of feel the same, and that I absolutely love what I'm doing. And you see the development over the course of 6 years. I kind of teach secondary teaching, so kind of 13 to 18, and it's fantastic to see. But I'm just curious, is I find as the students go through, under my kind of through my classes and stuff, I find that yes, I can make a change for them. But do you ever find that when you're coaching people that they change you as well, and their sort of lessons coach you?
1,000,000,000%. The book is dedicated to my athletes because they have taught me more than any book and any experience I've had and anything that I could have read or done or course I could have done. Like they have taught me what is possible. Like they are incredible. And some people I don't get on with, I have to get rid of. Like I don't get on with everybody. Everybody doesn't get on with me. And people seem to think that they can just choose their coach, but actually it's up to the coach if they think they can get on with you, because some people are just not coachable. But some of the results I've had have been amazing. Some of the results I've had have been awful. People have come, they've gone, they've done things haven't worked, things have worked. So there's loads of stuff that I've learned. And also about the way that I communicate with people and the things that I expect from people, and worrying about what other people think of you and living by your values and all that sort of stuff. I've got a guy at the moment who is obsessed with time, and it's making him really miserable. And he's quite young, and he's obsessed with the sub-3 marathon, and he wants to be an ultra runner. And so I've been coaching for about 6 weeks, and I've got to the point now where he's going to Valencia without his watch. He's going to Valencia Marathon without his watch. He's just like not going to wear it. It's amazing. Whereas before he was so obsessed with what was on his watch, and now he's like, I'm going to go without it. I'm just going to run on the day and high five all the kids and eat all the sweets and just see what happens. That change in mindset in such a short time is incredible. And I know he's going to have a really, really amazing time. And it's stuff like that where you're like, he's done that with a little bit of guidance. And he's only 26. He's going to be like so free for the rest of his running life to like run with joy and freedom as opposed to constriction of fear. And that's a gift, you know, that is an absolute gift. So yeah, they teach me loads of stuff, and I'm super grateful that I get to do what I get to do.
Cool.
Thank you. Harry, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, thank you. 2 questions. One fun, other a little more serious. How was your pub lunch with Ed Sheeran?
Oh, that was years ago. I've been in much worse situations with Ed Sheeran than the pub lunch, much more fun situations with Ed Sheeran than the pub lunch. Like the time he asked me and my friend Stacey for a threesome. So we started taking our tops off, and he started going, no, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. And I'm like, well, don't ask then, just to teach him a lesson.
Excellent. The other one is, I've been running for a while, and, my wife got onto it, and now she's doing half marathons. I have 2 young daughters and who are keen to take on the sport. So someone who is knocking at the door, wants to take on, what would your guidance be? What advice would you have, particularly to girls, in terms of taking on the sport?
First off, you need to fuel your body. That's the most important thing. So you need to make sure you're fueling the machine. Secondly, do not look at what other people are doing. It's none of your business, because it's very easy to compare yourself or get information off the internet now. Whereas in the 1980s, they would have just gone out and done some running and come back. They wouldn't have timed it. They wouldn't have looked at like what other people were doing. They would have just enjoyed themselves. If you can be more 80s about it, that's brilliant. But the problem is the comparison trap, which a lot of young people and women fall into, because it's what we're served. We're served to look a certain way, to behave a certain way, to be able to do certain things. Women can have it all. Like, just because we can have it all doesn't mean we want it all. Like, you should look this way, you should dress this way, you should present, you shouldn't go out after dark because you're going to end up getting attacked. So don't do that. You're asking for trouble by doing that, which is absolute bollocks. But it's about saying to them, you do this for you. A really good way of explaining this, I always use the supermarket example. So a lot of the time my athletes will be like, I don't want to go to the gym because people are going to stare at me and think I don't know what I'm doing. Or I got really upset because somebody else in my club ran this faster than I did. And I just look on Strava and compare what I've done to what they've done. When you go into a supermarket, you don't look at what other people are putting in their trolleys. You don't follow people around and copy what they're doing. You don't wheel your trolley up to next to theirs and go, oh, hang on a minute, they've got that and I've got this. I'll empty it on the floor and put what they've got in. You wouldn't do that, would you? Because it makes you look like a fucking nutter. And also, you're not there to buy what they are there to buy. You're all in the same place for the same reason, but you have different needs. And it's the same with running. So it's really keeping them away from that comparison and being like, your lane, this is your hobby. You should be enjoying it. It is not your job. You don't get paid for it. And everyone is so busy looking at what they're doing that they're not going to be looking at what you're doing and thinking you're an idiot. If anything, they'll look at what you're doing and wish they were doing what you were doing, like you're doing to other people. So if you can get that into them early, that it's for them, not for anyone else, that's really helpful.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Allie.
Brilliant. Thank you, Allie. Yeah, be more 80s. I like that. That's the new
In the 80s, we just went out, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have a watch for the first 20 years of my running career. Uh,
Or carbon plated shoes, or
well,
a 5K fucking PB.
yeah. Tina, you're back with more questions. Go for it.
It's not me. I just thought I'd bring your attention to the chat because a while ago,
I'm
I
sorry.
think as someone called B asked some questions about kits, and I just thought I'd raise attention to it. Yeah, thanks for that supermarket analogy. I'm gonna
That's
definitely
in the
gonna
book.
use that.
That's an
That's really good.
exclusive. That's an exclusive. Right. Kit questions. What torch do you recommend for your through the night ones? The Fenix HM. I just gotta look it up. I get the numbers wrong because I'm stupid. Actually, I'm not stupid. I'm very clever, but I just forget. It's the Fenix FENIX HM 65R-T V2. Got it? I'll say it again. Fenix HM 65R-T V2. It's incredible. I've used it on spine races, I've used it on Dragon's Back, I've used it on the Arc. It is amazing. It's got 12-hour battery life and it has a rechargeable battery. So you buy an extra battery and it's got 4,000 megahertz or whatever it is, one that lasts even longer. And you'll never need to buy another head torch. It's just the best thing in the world. The end.
She also asked, how do you keep your phone nav charged in the cold on these
I
months?
try not to WhatsApp my mates. I don't need it, do I?
Don't cook for the cold. Does the cold not kill it or not? Do you have to keep
I don't use it.
No.
Like I don't use it. So I will switch it off. And I usually reckon my routes. I have a paper map, so I know how to use a paper map because paper maps don't lose their battery, everybody. And so learn how to use a paper map and you learn how to use a compass. Learn how to use your watch and put the map on your watch. So if you do need your phone, you can switch it on and look at OS maps if you really, really need to, but it's much better to be able to read a map. And if you want to keep it warm, then put it into a dry bag. Wrap your mandatory kit around it and put it into a dry bag. But the only time I've ever had a problem with it is in Mongolia when it was -42. It doesn't get that low in England. So in Mongolia, they were all moribund and we couldn't use our phones. My headphones snapped, my eyes froze together. It was awful. But yeah, I just don't use it. I might use it. I tend to use an iPod Shuffle to listen to music. It's easier than using my phone. Is that the only one?
Yeah, I must apologize for my job is to keep the eye on the chat, and I completely missed it. So thanks, Tino.
Is my pre-order up for that book?
It seems to be.
Oh my God. I didn't even know that.
Well,
pre-order, everybody, go for it.
You finished it, so
yeah, no, but I've only just improved the bloody cover because they're like, pre-orders will go live beginning of December.
I've had pre-orders for sale when I haven't even finished writing it. That's more.
It's
terrifying.
That's snazzy.
Emma, you've got another question.
Yeah, I just wondered. So I did my first marathon in September, and so deciding on what to do next, I decided rather than kind of get quicker at a marathon, I want to go into the ultra distance. What would you recommend going from marathon? What would you recommend as a distance for the first ultra after that?
Depends what you want to do with your life, really. Like, have you got big dreams?
I want to keep pushing boundaries. So during the marathon training, what I liked the most about it was that every weekend I was going further than I've ever gone before. So I just want to keep pushing it and keep achieving.
So the first thing I would do is not to get sucked into that trap of like, I want to go further than I've ever been before. How about you get stronger than you've ever been before, which will give you longevity? So I would go, right, I've done my marathon training. I'm now going to get really into my strength training. Make sure you're doing that once a week. And then pick something you really want to do. So was it Loch Ness Marathon you did?
No, it was just in the New Forest Trail.
Oh yeah, that's so nice. I'm going to New Forest for Christmas. Do my spine training. So what was I going to say? Yeah, so I'd go 50k, 30 miles, 32 miles. Then I'd go up to 50 miler. Then I'd go up to 100 miler. Then I'd go up to 154 miles. Then I got to 200 miles. And then in 2027, Pegasus are doing a 300-mile race along the Pembrokeshire Way for one
I
go.
would stop before that if I was giving.
So that's what I do, 50k, and then see if you like the distances before you go on to another one. Because some people are like, I want to run 100 miles, so they've never run 50. It's like, look, I really would see if you like running for 15 hours before you decide to run for 35. It's a good idea. The other thing is people think everyone's doing it. They're not. Like, in this country, only 18% of women have ever been for a run. not run a marathon, a run. 18% of women, right? It's 1% of the population that have ever run a marathon, not 2 marathons or 3, 1, and that's it. And then running is 0.01%, right? So everyone isn't doing it. It's very niche, and we surround ourselves with this algorithm where we think everyone is doing it. They're not. So surround yourself with the right people, get involved with people that you can trust. But the most important thing is get strong, especially if you're a woman, because your longevity will just go on forever that way, and you will get faster, stronger, and you'll have that endurance. But I think people just copy the marathon training and ignore everything else. And I can't tell you how important strength and interval sessions, speed work is for ultra runners. It's super, super important. It's not just about those big long boys. It's about like the longest run I'm going to do before the spine is 30 miles. That's it. And it's a 268-mile race, because I did do Dragon's Back and that was a big training block. But still the longest down that was 45 miles. And it's all about that strength, endurance, problem solving, admin, because the longer you go on, the better you need to be at admin. If your admin's fucked, you're fucked. If you lose a glove, it's the end of your race. So it's all that stuff to think about. What am I willing to do? Where does my enjoyment lie? And it might be that marathon distance is distance for you, and you're like, I'm quite happy with this. It might be there's too much faff around 50 milers. It might be that 100 milers are too much. Just do you. Don't look at what anyone else is doing, and find your people. That's the other thing. Or whether they're online or in real life, find the people that all encourage you.
Thank you. Well, there's an ultra that goes on the Castlemaine Trail from Moors Valley down to Hengistbury Head, and that's 50.
Oh yeah, is that Race to the Sea?
Race to the Sea, yeah.
So yeah, that's a good race.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I think we've kept Ellie for an hour. We've had some brilliant answers. I think there's been a lot of questions, and you've given a lot of advice, and I think there's probably a good taste of the forthcoming book. And I think we'd agree that your advice has been direct and useful, definitely, and pragmatic, like you say. It's stuff you can really get your teeth into, I would imagine. So I'm looking forward to reading that.
Just so you know, guys, if you pre-order the hardback, which isn't up yet, you get a free Pickle bookmark. Yeah, I thought you might do that, Carol. They're not been designed yet, so don't go ordering from Waterstones.
So
wait.
Vertebrae.
Yeah, because you're going to have that little dog all over your bookmark. That's what people are there for, let's face it. See, all these hearts, been no hearts before. The minute you mention the bloody dog, hearts.
Yeah, the dog hasn't been mentioned. I do have one last question. I enjoyed your songs at the beginning of each chapter, and I do think I have quite similar music taste. So I was just going to ask you for any songs or tracks or albums of the year. That was my last question.
Are you in the Sad Dads Club, are you?
Yes.
The old Nashua, the Striped Rabbit.
Exactly.
So sad. Why is my life so hard? Yes, I love the Fontaines DC album. That is I think the last Fontaines DC album, Romance, it's a classic album. Absolutely brilliant band. I really like Bob Vylan. I've liked Bob Vylan since the start, and now everyone's all like, Bob Dylan. And I'm like, Bob Vylan is a poet. And the other one that I'm loving is that the new Bon Iver, the newish Bon Iver. It's amazing. I listened to that on Dragon's Back over and over and over and over again, to the point where I listened to it in the car the other day. I was like, not ready to listen to that. I'll switch it off. Oh, and the new Lily Allen album, which is a fucking masterpiece.
I agree. Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ali. I look forward to your new book. Thank you to everyone for coming, asking questions. Apologies for not keeping my eye on the chat. And thank you, Ali. Thanks for coming.
If you want to ask any more questions, I'm AB_runs on Instagram, and I'm going to pick up Pickle now because she's at her dad's.
Brilliant. Okay.
Okay. I love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.